Hi, today from Get in the Mix. Today we're going to be looking at the Korg Volca, the Korg Modular. Right, so we've got it out of the box, we've plugged it into DC mains. You can battery power it and obviously use the speaker that's built into the unit, but we are coming out of the headphone output and into this lovely speaker here. To kind of give you a bit of a rundown of what this is, it is a modular synth, which is basically a West Coast style synthesis. So if you're interested in things like bouclers and stuff like that, make noise modules, then this is kind of quite a good, interesting thing that you will probably like to add to your arsenal, because basically it incorporates a lot of West Coast synthesis features. It's worth saying it comes with quite a lot of little patch cables. They are quite fragile, so I would say to be careful with them. I'm going to see if I can get this into the camera. So they are basically little pins that slot into these very, very small square holes, which is making the modular connection, the physical connection between two different components of the synth. I guess it's just to save space to keep it in that Volca format. The Volcas are all this standard size, so and they want to keep it this standard size. You have 4 different coloured cables, 4 of each. I believe the purple and the black are the same length, and the yellow and the red are the same length. I guess the reason they've done 2 different lengths in 4 across 4 colours is so you can see what you're doing easier when you're patching, because I can imagine if these are all the same colour, it would get pretty confusing pretty quickly. That's kind of a brief overview. What we're going to actually do today is, on the other side of this handy piece of card that comes in the box, there are some basic patches to get you started. So what we are going to do is we're going to go through these basic patches. It is worth me saying that there are some more basic patches on the manual. You have 2 manuals. One of them has, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the manuals down there. One of them's got the diagrams on, and then the other one's kind of got the written section of kind of the breakdown of the nitty-gritty of what is inside this little box. So yeah, without further ado, we're gonna make some patches. So we're gonna start with this patch here, which is the Modulator as second VCO patch. You can see what actually comes out of this thing. This is kind of as a starting point. I will say this is what the oscillator sounds like as default. It is a triangle wave. Nice. So this is the Modulator as second VCO patched in and ready to go. So got your second VCO there on the second filter cutoff. This is your default kind of triangle. It's just added a second oscillator. So yeah, it's quite hard. I'm going to say I'm not much of a keys player at best of times, and kind of using although it's a very, very neat touchpad, it does take some time to get your head around the whole way that it's laid out. One thing that I have discovered is that it has this handy little arpeggiator function, if you will. Well, it's not really an arpeggiator. It just, if you hit the function button and tap 1, you can select what scale you want to play in. So I'm going to hit exotic here, and that should now, if I hit the play button, playing in an exotic scale. And you've got your clock here, and you can just adjust the time of that. So if I function again, scale, and let's go to Dorian, and hit play again. Different scale. Bingo! So next we're going to move on to the LFO as the LFO modulation. Right, so we want to come out of the time on that. Go into top of the shape. So this is the LFO modulation. You can hit this, adjust the shape of the LFO. And then the time here, obviously. Speed of the LFO. I've just pinned back the release a little bit so you can't really hear it. So yeah, that is the LFO modulation. Next, we're going to go on to the Portamento. I was just going to patch the Portamento in, give that a little whirl. I want to come out of woggle into monoggle. So we have got the Portamento going. Sounds Portamento-y, doesn't it? You can hear it sliding. Let's put it onto reverse. I think the police might be outside. It's got a reverb in the unit. It's literally just adjusted on the amount. You can just have it off or dry or as wet as you like, which is quite intense. It's really like metallic-y. That was pretty intense. So we're going to go for the ring modulator now. So we want to come out of this. So we got a ring modulator. It's pretty cool. Sounds like a weird. It's a didgeridoo. Sounds like a weird didgeridoo. Like, let's go back down on the fold. Wait, if we go down an octave. Now that is like a didgeridoo. That sounds pretty fat, to be honest. Cool, right. So like I was saying, we've got some stuff on the manual as well. In addition to the ones on the back of this piece of card, you've got a few more patch ideas on the manual. Very helpful to finding your way around this thing. Because it is I'm sorry, I'm just going to go and pop this down. Because this is a West Coast style synthesis, it's not a synthesizer, it's not as straightforward as traditional East Coast things. So things like your Moogs, your mini logs, obviously if we're going to stay within Korg. It does take some time to get your head around it. It's not like traditional straightforward subtractive synthesis. It's more things like wave folding and modulation of one wave with another. It's quite interesting, and you can get tones and textures out of this thing that just physically are not possible with just a normal subtractive synthesizer. Right, so we've got the polyrhythmic duo patched in. If you're just playing the synth, it's quite hard to hear it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit play, which is currently playing at the Japanese scale, and you should be able to hear the two notes playing in different rhythms as well. So it's quite cool. So you've got one there. So this is our quick look at the Korg Volca Modular. If you liked what you heard, give us a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Nice one. Cheers.